Fossils falsify evolution. 2. In this video, we provide scientist quotes that confirm gaps in the fossil record that falsify gradualism. These gaps are not an artifact of incomplete fossil sampling. The gaps are real, and they confirm sudden appearance of higher taxa, kingdom, phylum, class, order in the fossil record. This falsifies gradualism and thereby naturalistic mega-evolution. We provide quotes from scientists who, as far as we know, do believe in evolution. However, the scientific evidence shows that fossil gaps are real, and the gaps falsify gradualism. Quote, "It must be significant that nearly all the evolutionary stories I learned as a student have now been debunked. Similarly, my own experience of more than 20 years looking for evolutionary lineages among the Mesozoic Brachiopoda has proved them equally elusive." Derek Ager, University at Swansea, Wales, Proceedings of the Geological Association, Volume 887, page 132. Quote, "One thing which has struck me very forcibly through the years is that most of the classic evolutionary lineages of my student days, such as Austriographia and Zophrhentus Delannoy, have long since lost their scientific respectability. And in spite of the plethora of paleontological information we now have available, there seems to be very little to put in their place. In 20 years' work on the Mesozoic Brachiopoda, I have found plenty of relationships, but few, if any, evolving lineages." D. Ager, The Nature of the Stratigraphical Record, 1981, 20. Quote, "Well, we are now about 1 to 20 years after Darwin, and the knowledge of the fossil record has been greatly expanded. We now have 250,000 fossil species, but the situation hasn't changed much. The record of evolution is still surprisingly jerky, and, ironically, we have even fewer examples of evolutionary transition than we had in Darwin's time. By this I mean that some of the classic cases of Darwinian change in the fossil record, such as the evolution of the horse in North America, have had to be discarded or modified as a result of more detailed information." David Raup, Conflicts Between Darwin and Paleontology, Field Museum of Natural History Bulletin, Volume 50, 1979, page 25. Quote, "I fully agree with your comments on the lack of direct illustration of evolutionary transitions in my book. If I knew of any, fossil or living, I would certainly have included them. Yet Gould and the American Museum people are hard to contradict when they say there are no transitional forms. I will lay it on the line there is not one such fossil for which one could make a watertight argument." Colin Patterson, evolutionist, personal letter to Luther Sunderland, as quoted in Darwin's Enigma, 89. Quote, "It remains true, as every paleontologist knows, that most new species, genera, and families, and that nearly all categories above the level of families, appear in the record suddenly and are not led up to by known, gradual, completely continuous transitional sequences." Dr. George Gaylord Simpson, Harvard University. Quote, "He, Darwin, prophesied that future generations of paleontologists would fill in these gaps by diligent search. 120 years of paleontological research later, it has become abundantly clear that the fossil record will not confirm this part of Darwin's predictions. Nor is the problem a miserably poor record. The fossil record simply shows that this prediction was wrong." Niles Eldridge, Columbia University, American Museum of Natural History, The Myths of Human Evolution, 45 to 46. Quote, "9/10 of the talk of evolutionists is sheer nonsense, not founded on observation and wholly unsupported by facts. This museum is full of proofs of the utter falsity of their views. In all this great museum, there is not a particle of evidence of the transmutation of species." Dr. Etheridge, senior paleontologist of the British Museum of Natural History, cited in Dr. Scott Hughes' The Collapse of Evolution. Conclusion: the scientific evidence confirms gaps in the fossil record that falsify gradualism. These gaps are not an artifact of incomplete fossil sampling. The gaps are real, and they confirm sudden appearance of higher taxa, kingdom, phylum, class, order, in the fossil record. This falsifies gradualism, and thereby naturalistic mega-evolution. Thanks to Michael Mote for compiling these quotes. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.